Welcome back to another video. We have another breakdown for the UFC Fight Night Thompson versus Holland. This weekend we have a pretty big card, a pretty stacked card for this weekend, so I'm super happy. I think it's just two more cards, one after another after this, so it should be really nice. No breaks in between. We have a good start to next year also, but let's get started on this card. I'm going to start from the early prelims to the main card and then the main event. First off here we have Yazmin Juaregui. I hope I'm saying that right. And Istela Nunes. Yazmin Juaregui, 9-0, 23 years of age and 64 inches of reach. Istela Nunes, 6-3, 30 years of age and 66 inches of reach. I am going to go with Yazmin Juaregui. I think she looked really good in her last fight against Yazmin Lucindo. And Istela Nunes coming off losses to Sam Hughes and Ariane Carnelosi. I just don't think she's going to be able to hang in there with Yazmin Juaregui. She was already pretty highly sought after prospect coming into the UFC. So I am going to go with Yazmin Juaregui in this fight. She's also only 23 years of age, so she's someone to keep an eye on. I just think she'll be able to do a lot more than Istela Nunes in this matchup, so that's who I'm going with. Up the card, we have Francis Marshall versus Marcelo Rojo. Francis Marshall, 6-0, 23 years of age and 72 inches of reach. Marcelo Rojo, 16-8, 34 years of age and 71 inches of reach. Francis Marshall will have a 1-inch reach advantage in this matchup. Francis Marshall coming from the Contender Series, won against Connor Matheus. Marcelo Rojo's last couple fights, Kyler Phillip and Charles Jourdain. So two very difficult, I wouldn't say difficult, but two good matchups for him that he lost to. So won't really hound that too much in there for him. Two tough opponents there. But I am going to go with against what some of the creators are saying. I'm going to go with Francis Marshall. I think he's going to be able to, I think in this matchup, I think both of these guys are, don't want to call them similar, but I think on the feet, they both kind of like to just take shots and give out some more. So Francis Marshall, he likes to basically take a shot to give out too and just hope his power takes the way and tries to finish the guy there. But he also mixes in his takedowns pretty well. And I think he's going to be super powerful in this fight. So I am going to go with Francis Marshall. Marcelo Rojo definitely has fought against the tougher opponents here, but I am going to take a leap on Francis Marshall. I think he can get it done. I think I said Connor Matheus was actually going to beat him on the Contender Series, so I'm going to side with Francis Marshall. Up the card, we have Natan Levy versus Genaro Valdez. I think I'm saying that right. 7-1, Natan Levy, 31 years of age and 72 inches of reach. Genaro Valdez, 10-1, 30 years of age and then 72 inches of reach. For this one, I am going to go with Natan Levy, but it is kind of a toss-up. Both of these guys, for me, nothing really sticks out as a prominent asset that they have in their fighting game. I just think Natan Levy is just going to be the bigger dude in this matchup. I think he's going to be able to not be moved around as much, uses strength and just uses strength and his size just to win this matchup for this. That's what I got to edge it to in this one. You can argue that the Matt Frivola knockout that Genaro Valdez got in his last fight isn't as bad or didn't age as poorly because Matt Frivola just beat Ottoman Azaitar. But for Natan Levy beat Mike Breeden, lost to Rafa Garcia, so not a bad loss there, but nothing crazy for both of these guys. So I am going to go with Natan Levy. I wouldn't be surprised if Genaro Valdez wins this, but I'm going to edge it to Natan Levy. Up the card, we have Tracy Cortez versus Amanda Ribas. I actually am going to go with Tracy Cortez here. I'm going to go against the grain for this one. I think Tracy Cortez, her size, she has a really good base and she's powerful and strong. I think that would do really well against Amanda Ribas. You can argue, not really argue, but Amanda Ribas' losses, Caitlin Chukagan split decision, and Marina Rodriguez loss looked pretty good right now. They are both very good fighters, but she did get taken down in the first round, controlled for basically most of the round against Verna Jandiroba. Did get hurt at the end of that round also. And I think Tracy Cortez, she took down Erin Blanchfield and Invicta FC a couple times, was able to control her in that fight also. I just think she's stronger. On the feet, I will edge it to Amanda Ribas, but I do think Tracy Cortez will be able to get her down. I think she's just going to be stronger. I will give the power advantage to Tracy Cortez also, but it is a little worrying for her on the feet. I feel like she gets hit quite a bit, but I am going to edge it to Tracy Cortez. I think she can take her down, mix it in at least, and be a threat to her on the ground for sure. But yes, I'm going to go with Tracy Cortez by, I don't want to say split decision, but I think it'll be a very close fight, especially if Tracy Cortez wins it, because I think you have to measure the stuff on the feet and then stuff on the ground. So I think Tracy Cortez will involve a little bit more of her grappling game. She goes to fight ready, and you see what happened with Zhang Weili when she went to fight ready. Her wrestling and grappling massively improved, especially in her last fight against another wrestler. Her wrestling and things like that massively improved. Tracy Cortez has been training there for basically most of her career. So I'm going to go Tracy Cortez by a decision, 29-28. Up the card, we have Darren Elkins versus Jonathan Pearce. Darren Elkins, 27-10, 38 years of age and 71 inches of reach. Jonathan Pearce, 13-4, 30 years of age and 71 inches of reach. I am going to go Jonathan Pearce. I think Darren Elkins has just gotten up there in age. And Jonathan Pearce has a style where he can just grind guys out, and I think that's exactly what he'll do to Darren Elkins in this matchup. Yeah, I think he'll just keep at range and then just mix in everything and overwhelm Darren Elkins a little bit. Just grind him out on the ground. Make this a decision win for Jonathan Pearce in this matchup. Up the card, we have Michael Johnson versus Marc Diakiese. 2018, Michael Johnson, 36 years of age and 73.5 inches of reach. Marc Diakiese, I hope I'm saying right. Is it Diakiese or Diakiese? 16-5, 29 years of age and 73 inches of reach. I am going to go with Marc Diakiese in this fight. I think he's just going to be able to make it boring, bring it to the ground, and just grind him out on the ground. This could be interesting if it does stay on the feet. Michael Johnson always has that chance on the feet. He's one of the most, I don't even know what to even call him, inconsistent or just weird fighter, where he'll beat the top guys and lose to the bottom guys. But I am going to go with Marc Diakiese by a decision, maybe 29-28 if it gets interesting on the feet. But I do think it will be more of a 30-27 look than a 29-28. I just think he's going to be able to dominate Michael Johnson on the ground for a decision. Up the card, we have Clay Guida versus Scott Holtzman. Clay Guida, 37-22, 40 years of age and 70 inches of reach. Scott Holtzman, 14-5, 39 years of age and 69 inches of reach. I am going to go Scott Holtzman. His last two losses were against Matheus Gamrot and Beneil Dariush, so two very good losses to have, without a doubt. And I just think Clay Guida getting old, but he'll obviously be in the matchup anyways, because that's just how Clay Guida fights. I think Scott Holtzman will be able to hurt him a little bit in this fight, maybe finish him in like the second or third round by like TKO. But yeah, I'm going to go Scott Holtzman in this matchup for sure. I just think he's going to be too big and then too dangerous on the feet for Clay Guida. Up the card, we have Angela. Oh, let me fix this. Up the card, we have Angela Hill versus Emily Ducote. Angela Hill, 14-12, 37 years of age and 64.5 inches of reach. Emily Ducote, 12-6, 28 years of age and 63 inches of reach. This one's kind of a toss-up again. I think I could see this going either way. I think it will be a super close matchup. But I think I will edge it to Emily Ducote. It's not like she just throws like one shot at a time. With the power she does have, she has some pretty good power in her hands. It's not like she throws one shot at a time. She'll definitely mix it up with her hands a little bit. And I think Angela Hill will definitely go forward in the first round. I do expect her to win the first round. I think she'll go forward. But I think over time, you'll see Ducote use the leg kick and then maybe mix in like a takedown or whatever. Mix it up on the feet. make things super interesting, make things a little tough for Angela Hill. And I do see Emily Ducote winning this fight. I just think over time the leg kicks will get at her. She's going to be able to get some cleaner shots than Angela Hill, especially with that power. It'll look better for the judges, and it'll be a lot better for a decision win for Emily Ducote. I'm going to go split decision win for Emily Ducote. I do think it becomes interesting in that second round, but I do fully expect her to win in that third round. So I'm going to go Emily Ducote by split decision in this matchup. Up the card, we have Niko Price versus Philip Rowe. Niko Price, 15-5, 33 years of age, and 76 inches of reach. Philip Rowe, 9-3, 32 years of age, and 80.5 inches of reach. He will have like a 4.5-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with Philip Rowe. I think he's going to be able to use his reach pretty well, use some range, and then be a little bit more technical in this fight. Niko Price has just had some great fights, but I do think Philip Rowe is going to be able to stay calm in there, use some more technical shots, and then not avoid being taken down. He has fought in like a Gordon Ryan in the grappling, so he's fought some great grapplers. So he's definitely prepared on the grappling, and I don't think he should be too worried about that. But I am going to go with Philip Rowe, probably 29-28 decision. But yeah, I just think he's going to be able to just outpoint him. It won't be like that in the fight. I think Niko Price will go pretty crazy in this matchup. I just think Philip Rowe will just land the better shots, be super technical in this matchup. Up the card, we have Eryk Anders versus Kyle Daukaus. Eryk Anders, 14-7, 35 years of age and 75 inches of reach. Kyle Daukaus, 11-3, 29 years of age and 76 inches of reach. I am going to go with Kyle Daukaus in this matchup. I think Eryk Anders is a little bit on the other side of his career. He lost twice in his lost his last two matchups against Junior Park and Andre Muniz. Kyle Daukaus lost to Roman Dolidze, won against Jamie Pickett, which is an iffy win. Draw to Kevin Holland, and then lost to Phil Haas. So his two recent losses have been pretty good losses. If that makes any sense. Phil Haas and Roman Dolidze are looking like pretty solid losses. And I think Junior Park and Andre Muniz is good, but also Junior Park isn't to the standard of Roman Dolidze or Phil Haas. So I am going to go with Kyle Daukaus here, but I'll just go 29-28. I just think he's going to be able to mix it up on the feet and then maybe take him down. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I got for this one. It's just an iffy matchup. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kyle Daukaus for sure. He's just going to mix it up. Make it hard for Eryk Anders in this matchup. I don't know. 29-28 decision. We have Jack Hermansson versus Roman Dolidze. Jack Hermansson, 23-7, 34 years of age and 77.5 inches of reach. Roman Dolidze, 11-1, 34 years of age and 76 inches of reach. I am going to edge this to Jack Hermansson in this matchup, although Roman Dolidze is pretty solid off his back. I do think him coming in on short notice is going to be a little rough for him. I kind of want to see how that weight cut would be. I'm kind of presuming that the weight cut won't be very good for him, and it's a very short notice. So I guess we'll kind of see on fight day how he's going to look. If he looks good on the scales, maybe it's more of a 50-50 bout for this one. But I am going to go to Jack Hermansson. I think he's going to be able to keep a range, maybe mix in a couple takedowns, and avoid some of the jiu-jitsu off of Roman Dolidze's back. But again, Roman Dolidze, some crazy power in his hands. Against Phil Haas, just knocked him out 3 weeks ago. KO'd Kyle Daukaus, and then got a decision against Laureano Strapoli. And Jack Hermansson, last fight was Chris Curtis. I believe he did hurt Chris Curtis in the matchup. Lost to Sean Strickland. Won against Edmund Shabazian, and then lost to Marvin Vettori. So it's kind of been up and down throughout his career. But I am going to go with Jack Hermansson just because he's training for Derek Brunson. So figure he might have been trying to train his grappling in that matchup. But again, it is on short notice. It's short notice for both of these guys. So maybe Roman Dolidze can catch him on the feet. I will be rooting for Roman Dolidze. I do need to move this a little bit. I will be rooting for Roman Dolidze, but I just think Jack Hermansson will be able to keep the range there, avoid the big shots from Roman Dolidze, and win this matchup. Probably, I don't want to say 29-28. Maybe it does go there. But it'll just be a decision for Jack Hermansson. I'm not sure how it'll be, though. It could be 29-28, 30-27. Maybe Roman Dolidze catches them in one of the rounds. But I am going to go with Jack Hermansson by decision. Up the card, we have Tuivasa versus Sergei Pavlovich. Tuivasa, 15-4, 29 years of age, and then 75 inches of reach. Sergei Pavlovich, 16-1, 30 years of age and 84 inches of reach. Will have a whopping 9 inches reach advantage. If you want to see kind of a bigger breakdown of this matchup, you can look at my early prediction I made probably like a week ago or maybe less than a week ago. But I did go a little bit more in depth in this matchup if you did want to look at it. But just to sum up what I talked about, oh, my bad. 9 inches of reach for Sergei Pavlovich. Tuivasa coming off a very fun matchup for the viewers, but he took tons of damage against Rogan, and that was 2 months ago. Not a very good fight to be coming off of into a Sergei Pavlovich fight, where Sergei Pavlovich is coming off of a KO win over Derek Lewis, KO win over Shamil Abdurakhimov, KO win over Maurice Green, KO win over Marcelo Golm. I do think this ends in like the first or second round. I see Sergei Pavlovich winning this fight. I think Tuivasa is taking this fight way too close to his last one. I don't even think he's fully recovered from his last fight. Yeah, so I'm going to go Sergei Pavlovich by first or second round TKO. I just think the range, the power in his hands, and then him just being I don't want to say cleaner, but he didn't take damage in his last fight against Derek Lewis. Tuivasa 2 months ago took tons of damage. Have to go with Sergei Pavlovich as much as I want to see Tuivasa win this fight, which is kind of, I don't know why he took this fight, honestly. You're number 4. You don't need to take this fight this soon. And I think it's weird how they have it lower on the card. Maybe they think Sergei will win, but we'll see. Up the card, we have Matheus Nicolau versus Matt Schnell. Nicolau, 18-2, 29 years of age and 66 inches of reach. Matt Schnell, 16-7, 32 years of age and 70 inches of reach. We'll have a 4-inch reach advantage in this matchup, but I'm going to have to go with Matheus Nicolau in this fight. I just think he's going to be able to get him out of there in the second or third round, probably because Matt Schnell's chin I just don't trust. I don't like either. His chin is just not, I just can't get behind that. I feel like it's not very, I'm not confident in it. So he's a good fighter, but his chin is just the only thing holding him back. Lost to Rojo Montorin, lost to Brandon Royval, got dropped, and then almost lost to Juaregui. I believe I did predict this fight. Juaregui could have gotten rid of him like 5 different times in that fight. Matt Schnell came back, made an absolute crime scene in the middle of the octagon. Yeah, kind of got away with the win there. Super surprised he did, actually, but he did win over the fans in that one, so I'm assuming he will have quite a bit of people rooting for him in this matchup. But I think Matheus Nicolau wins over David Dvorak, which is a pretty solid win. Tim Elliott is a pretty good win. Manel Cap. I just think he's got enough to take out Matt Schnell in the second or third round. Again, Matt Schnell is super talented, but I just think the only thing holding him back is pretty much the chin. Just think he gets caught too much, so I think Matheus Nicolau will be able to get him out of there in the second or third round in this matchup. Up the card, we have Rafael dos Anjos, Rafael dos Anjos versus Bryan Barberena. Dos Anjos, 31-14, 38 years of age and 70 inches of reach. Bryan Barberena, 18-8, 33 years of age and 72 inches of reach. For this one, I am going to go with Rafael dos Anjos in this matchup. I do think he's going to be able to work the whole body for Bryan against Bryan Barberena. Bryan Barberena did struggle against a Robbie Lawler, same Robbie Lawler who made it competitive against Nick Diaz. So I wasn't super confident on that. That matchup was actually kind of weird because Robbie Lawler actually looked really good in this matchup, and then he didn't look that impressive against Nick Diaz. So I was super confused. But Bryan Barberena found himself in that matchup, was able to take care of Robbie Lawler with a standing TKO on, I think, the second round or something like that. But Rafael dos Anjos' last fight was a loss against Rafael Fiziev by like a wheel kick or something, or a left hook. It wasn't. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into what the KO was, but he was able to make it super competitive against Rafael Fiziev, and yeah, so that's why I'm gonna go with Rafael dos Anjos. I think he's gonna be able to basically work the whole body of Bryan Barberena, legs, body, and the head. I think that'll be a little bit too much for Bryan Barberena, like you saw in his fight against Jason Witt. That fight was such a mess. And yeah, so I'm going to go with Rafael dos Anjos in this matchup. Up the card, we have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Kevin Holland. Stephen Thompson, 16-6, 39 years of age, and 75 inches of reach. Kevin Holland, 23-8. 30 years of age and 81 inches of reach. We'll have a 6-inch reach advantage in this matchup, and I will be choosing Kevin Holland. I believe I did do an early prediction for this matchup, and if you do want to see a more in-depth breakdown of that, you can go look at it. I believe it was like a couple months ago when this fight did get announced. But I am going to go with Kevin Holland. I'm going to stay with my early prediction in this matchup. I just think the range, I think Stephen Thompson kind of, I don't want to say struggles, but those weird strikers kind of get on him the most, like you saw in the Pettis fight where he got KO'd. I just think Kevin Holland's going to be that weird striker again. He has the range, he has the power, and I think he's going to hurt Stephen Thompson like the second or third round, and then maybe TKO him. I just don't know what Stephen Thompson, other than stand-up fighting, he's almost 40 years of age. Like, what is he going to resort to if he gets hurt? I don't know. Like, Kevin Holland has the takedown advantage, the wrestling advantage, the grappling advantage. I just think there's way more ways for Kevin Holland to win this fight. I do think he catches Stephen Thompson on the feet, maybe submits him on the ground. But I do think Kevin Holland gets out of this matchup with a win. Yeah, don't got anything else other than that to say. If you do, again, if you want to see a more in-depth breakdown, go look at my early prediction on the matchup. I'll try to include it in the video if I can. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I do have a Tapology page if you do want to join. I believe there still is 4 people. I haven't checked it in a couple of days because we had a whole week off. But if you do want to join that, you can see my picks and other people's picks from the card. It'll also tally up all your picks you have, and then I can start putting in some more discussion board things and like that in there. If you want to discuss with the group a little bit more. But again, that's up to you. It's really easy to sign up if you want to. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. I believe we have UFC 282 coming up, so that should be an alright card. I'm a little angry that Yuri Prochazka, I wouldn't say angry, but I'm a little annoyed that Yuri Prochazka got injured and had to pull out. And now we have Ankalaev versus Jan Blachowicz, which should be an alright match. I am going to go with Ankalaev in that fight. I do believe I did do an early prediction on that one. So if you want to look at that, you can also look at that. Also, hopefully they put the Derek Lewis, Sergei Spivak fight on the 282 card, but we can only hope. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys next time.